Well, I'll give you a quick introduction. We've got a lot of people jumping on. We'll probably have some more jump on as we go through, but some of you have probably met Jeff before. He's been in the office. For some of you who are newer to the team, this will be new to you to learn about Client Giant, and for the rest of you, a refresher. So this is kind of like a Client Giant 101. And this is a really awesome platform and a great opportunity for you to cultivate future business from your clients that you have already closed with. So get your notepads out and be ready to learn here. Some cool stuff about Client Giant.
Thanks so much, Jennifer. Hey, everybody. I don't know who, well, I got Mo. Sorry, one of our sales guys was going to jump in and try to answer any questions, but I'll tell him he's all right. Let me try to send him a link. Sorry. How many people were actually there when we came into the office? So a couple, three, most people not. So I thought it was maybe going to be all the same people. I wasn't going to do the exact same deck or same pitch or same whatever and kind of just open it up to questions and whatnot. But basically, I'll give you the backstory of how we came to be and what we do. Does everybody already know sort of what we do? Ish, mostly. Okay, so we basically automate client care, specifically during a transaction and then following a transaction forever to lock in loyalty, drive repeat business, drive referral business, and essentially, automate the whole process by which you stand to gain, I would assume, your most favorite type of lead, which is a referral, a red hot lead that you don't have to call within 13 seconds. Otherwise, they're going to call somebody else. The backstory is this. So I'm one of the co-founders, actually. My co-founder, Jay, was a residential real estate agent starting as early as, I think, 2011 he started here in Southern California, a little north of where you guys are. Is everybody in San Diego area? Pretty much, yeah. Okay, so we're in Orange County. And Jay started for the first few years just running a regular, business, not necessarily specializing in high-end, actually probably like first-time home buyers is what he was specializing in. People spending just a few $100,000 and doing this for the first time. And after 3 or 4 years, he was doing well. He was doing, I think in the first couple of years, he was doing like 20 deals a year, and then it jumped to like 30, whatever. And at a certain point, he started to check sort of his reviews, basically say, hey, where am I standing? Like, where am I at? What am I doing well? What am I not doing well? Because one of the most important things is even when you're doing well, it's probably the best time to kind of check in with yourself, right? A lot of times people will get high on their own glue and they'll just think like, I'm doing great. But that's when you really should audit your business to try to give yourself some staying power. So what he did was, he did the same as I'm sure all of you guys is, if you work with somebody, you ask them to give you a review. Zillow at that time, maybe even more so than now, was the Bible, right? You had to have all these 5-star reviews. But the truth about a 5-star review is actually a little bit scary. Like, you guys probably all use Uber, and if you get in a car and you get to your destination, you arrive alive, and the person maybe didn't talk your ear off, they get a 5-star review, right? It's just like, it's kind of the default of whatever it is, but it should mean this was the best. It should mean this was the best experience possible. So he audited his reviews, and he had 5-star reviews, dozens and dozens of 5-star reviews, and they all said things that I'm sure you guys have if you checked yours out right now. And they said, Jay was always on time. He was super knowledgeable about the area. He was punctual. He was helpful, answered all of my questions, those kinds of things, which that's cool. But he looked at it and basically said, I'm screwed, right? Like, people are giving me 5 stars for doing things that's literally the definition of a real estate agent. It's a prerequisite. You better be on time. You better know the area. You better be helpful. You better answer questions. You better answer your phone every time. So he said, how am I going to future-proof my business? And he completely shifted things that day. And what he started to do was, basically, if you worked with him, he was going to create the Ritz-Carlton experience of real estate. What does that mean? It means personalizing things and creating an experience where the customer journey, like in the world of branding, in the world of customer experience, you map out a customer journey. You say, what's the customer feeling when they first meet me? What's the customer feeling when they go under contract? What's the customer feeling when they have conditions lifted? What's the customer feeling when they close, et cetera? Where are the challenges? Where are the pits? Where are the peaks? And then how do we fill the pits and raise the peaks, right? So what he started to do was you went under contract with him, buyer or seller. The first 10 days are the most stressful. We know this. So in the first 10 days, you'd receive something from him at your doorstep that just was a stress relief kit, right? And it would just say, hey, I know this is going to be a little bit stressful, but it's my job to carry the load of this. If you should find yourself feeling anxious, here's a few things that could help. And you'd get that and you would, feel like, oh, they're taking care of me. Now we do it with a notepad also that says things for my agent to worry about. And then we know when a week and a half later, when people start to, realize that they're going to have to move if they are going to move. And a box of moving boxes and supplies and tape and markers, they just show up, right? One less thing to worry about. And so on and so forth, all throughout. So like he would help you with your, transfer of utilities and your new address, like moving your new address for USPS. And, you'd then close on your house. And a month later, you would get a call from a maitre d' at a restaurant in the Orange County area, that's super nice restaurant, that would say, hey, you've been in your house for a month. Mr. O'Brien would love to help you guys celebrate. Have a night out at our restaurant. Any night you'd like to go, we'll have a car come pick you up. You and your husband, you and your wife, you and whomever. What night would you like to come? And what happened was kind of crazy. This was his big shift. He started to treat people this way, focus entirely on customer experience, and stop doing anything that was marketing to cold leads. And part of the reason was he believed that it could create, future-proofing the business, longevity. But the other one is he just didn't want those leads anymore. He didn't want the cold leads. He was also in a setup that's a little bit different than you guys. I've talked to Siri about it, but it was similar in that if you procured your own deals, meaning through referrals, through repeat, through whatever, he made a lot more money, right? So if he was taking cold leads, if he was taking leads from the brokerage, then he had an unfavorable split. So he said, well, how do I set myself up for the long term? I got to ensure that the largest percentage of my deals that come in are from referral or repeat, and I'll make all the money. So that's exactly what happened. He stopped his Zillow spend. He stopped eventually taking leads through the brokerage, and he built an army of repeat and referral business. There's a big difference. There's a lot to this, and I'll kind of explain it from a data perspective because my background's not in real estate. My background is in data and tech and business consulting in a bunch of different industries. But he ended up becoming top 30 under 30 with Inman. He ended up, starting to speak all over the country, all over the world, as far as South Africa, Europe, on this, and literally giving people the play-by-play. He would literally say, here's what I do on day 1, on day 7, on day 12, on after contingencies are lifted. Here's what I do when it closes. Here's what I do. And a lot of this is now we've kind of backed into it now that we've been doing this for almost 6 years as a formal company, but this was just him doing it as a regular guy. The reasons why it worked and why it exploded his business and why it works for all of our members, they're not hard to figure out. It's like, what's the alternative of this? What do you guys probably all do? You do a closing gift when somebody works with you, right? Well, the truth of the matter is that the fourth wall has been broken in the real estate transaction experience. Like, people watch Selling Sunset, Selling OC. They watch all of these shows. They know that, homegirl just got her huge commission on this property, and then she took a $300 gift card to Lowe's to the person's property, or gave them whatever the gift is. They know you just made a payday, and here's something for you. And the challenging thing is when you give one thing, you give a bottle of wine, you give a gift card, you give whatever that might be, it quantifies the moment, it quantifies a relationship. Somebody sees this one thing, it is an item, it's given to you after you've made money. It's a huge difference between that and essentially looking out for pain points for somebody all throughout a whole experience, right? From before you make money, just when they have decided that they are going to be your client, and then beyond. So he'd speak all over the world. I actually met him because he was my real estate agent. So my wife and I were looking to buy our first home together, and our lender said, do you have an agent? No. Well, here's this guy, Jay. He's going to be your best friend. I'm like, I don't need a best friend. I just need an agent. Here we are. It's 10 years later. He's my best friend. He's my business partner. I was just the best man in his wedding. Our wives are best friend. We traveled the whole world together. So that person was smart. But I got to experience that, and I had a tech background for 10 years. So I saw him win top 30 under 30, be like, all these accolades, and have honestly the easiest run business I've ever seen of any real estate agent. And I have a lot of friends who are real estate agents. he ended up getting to the point where like he stopped even being the one that meets with clients. Like he just like they would refer him to everybody because they had an amazing experience, and then he'd have other people service it and started exploding. He ended up buying into own half of his brokerage. But I watched him do this, and I watched this be such a novel thing in real estate, and have all these people all over the world saying, I'm going to do this. This is amazing. You get to work with who you want to. Your business is future proof. You're exploding. You're doing all these deals. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start treating my clients like this. And how many of those people do you think actually did it? Almost none. And the reason is it's hard and it's not your main time. Like it's not your main business. Your main business is meeting with clients and dealing with all the contracts and like the actual operational part of what it means to be a real estate professional. So I said, hey, I've got a development team. I've been building pretty sophisticated software systems that are mostly around relationships. We could build this. We could build a system that allows every real estate agent in the country to push a button, go under contract. When they go under contract, push a button, have everything go out to their clients, use an algorithm to figure out the exact right timing, and have it appear like it's all coming from them. But really, they don't have to do anything because they don't have the time to do anything. And so we did it. I'll get back to one thing in a second, but what he did that was kind of interesting that really future-proofed his business is I just described for you the process when he would go under contract with a client, buyer or seller. But after that, so normally you guys sell a home or help somebody buy a home, you might do your closing gift. And then I don't want to say you disappear, but you kind of disappear. You might like check in with them every once in a while. You might send, updates after a certain amount of time. You might start sending them updates about things you've done in the area to hopefully, garner potentially their resale business when they go to sell again. But what Jay did was after he worked with somebody or after the transaction closed, he put them on a drip and they would get something thoughtful from him every 3 months, like clockwork. Something would arrive at their doorstep that is thoughtful, that's a gift. It's something that he would send a friend. And it would just be topical to the season, right? I remember my wife and I, before we started this company, it was going to be a particularly rainy winter. And we got a box at the doorstep with a little umbrella. And it says, going to be a rainy one. You probably haven't, here's an umbrella in case you don't have one. Put it in the trunk in case you get stuck, or maybe hand it to a pedestrian who you find stuck in the rain. So he did two things there. One, he solved the pain point for me. And then he also made me realize he's the kind of guy who would suggest that you keep an umbrella in your trunk to help somebody that you might see stuck in the rain, right? So he's been able to brand himself as a thoughtful person. So that's what we did. We launched the company in 2018. We got most innovative from Inman really quickly. And then within 6 months, we were in all 50 states and Canada. And we basically automated what his process was, what got him to be this massive success. So Client Giant, launched, and essentially you guys can go under contract. And the second you go under contract with buy or sell, you push a button, you pick a right sized package for the investment or for the GCI that you expect from it. And you enter 4 dates. You say, what date did this go under contract? What date do you expect contingencies to be lifted? What date will this close? And if possession date's going to be different, let's say they're traveling or they're going to fix it up or whatever it is, but otherwise it defaults to the closing date. And the system uses an algorithm to automatically know when everything should go out to each person. You set what your name is. So my name is going to be Rich, or my name is going to be Claire, or whatever. And it all goes out from them. It can be, from, the brand or whatever. And then we built a system called Top of Mind, which is the, repeat and referral, like loyalty lock, which is after people work with clients or day one, like let's say today you guys have something under contract, but you probably have dozens, if not hundreds of past clients. We'll talk about that in a minute. That you kind of have like leaks in your boat, right? You kind of have people out there that might be like a passive referral, but not a passionate referral. The difference is huge. The difference between a passive and a passionate referral is, if somebody's going to give, and by the way, passive is 99% of real estate referrals. So what that means is, if my wife and I are looking to get another home, and we're at dinner with somebody and we say, yeah, we're looking at, getting a second home. And, somebody's like, oh, well, Rich Rich's brother just has his license, and he helped us, and he did it, for a 2% commission, whatever it is. You should talk to him. And if I have Jay, I might be like, oh well, that's interesting. Okay. And they try to pass it off. A passive referral is basically like, that's where it stops. They're going to tell you, oh, he got his license and he did it for 2%. You should try to work with him. But a passionate referral is you stop someone dead in their tracks. You say, you don't understand. This person provided me the best experience I've ever had. They still take care of me, and I haven't done work with them for 3.5 years. You have to work with this person. You have to talk with this. And it's just human nature. It's the same way if I asked you about your favorite movie or your favorite book or your favorite, like, you want to share something with somebody that is an experience that actually means something to you. If I asked you what your favorite, if you wanted to tell me about your favorite movie is Shawshank Redemption. I don't know who's seen Shawshank Redemption. If you haven't, you should be ashamed of yourself. But you'd say that, and then you'd be like, oh my God, you've never seen that? You have to go see it. You have to go see it. And then the next day you'd probably hit me up. Hey, did you watch it? Did you watch it? I want to hear what you thought of it, because you want someone to experience what you've experienced. That's a passionate referral. So that's how Top of Mind would lock that in. And so we built those two systems that are automated for real estate professionals all over the country. And ever since then, that's how we've operated. Essentially, we help real estate professionals to do this automatically without having to really think about it. So the way Top of Mind works is, let's say you guys all have, I don't even know, dozens or hundreds, could be, of past clients that you want to turn into raving fans. You want to basically make them actionable, right? You set them on Top of Mind and you put them on a plan. The plan's $99 per person for the entire year. It covers 4 touches that goes out to them in roughly January, April, July, October. And they just arrive at their doorstep in a nice box with amazing packaging, with a note from you that's you can customize it if you want. But we take care of everything. So the part that has changed since the way Jay did this just entirely organically, and like sending things from Amazon and doing it, is we are a gifting company. So things that arrive are real and heartfelt, and they're physical and they feel amazing. But at the end of the day, I'm a data dork, and this is the tech company. So we have millions of data points about what arrives to people, how it's packaged, what the messaging is, and their reception of it. And we use that to constantly tweak what we're sending, when we're sending it, how it arrives, what the box looks like, what the messaging looks like. At this point, we have social psychologists that come in and help us to sort out what the best gifts are going to be for these people. We have trend forecasters that come in. So we know, for example, that last summer was going to be the most heavily traveled summer in 4 years, thanks to the pandemic. So people got these amazing packing cubes. If you guys do not have packing cubes and you travel at all, go out and get them, or I'll send one to you. They're incredible. You pack all your stuff in these packing cubes. And it's just a note that goes with it that says, hey, whether you're going to travel down the road or across the world this summer, here's a little something that might make it a little bit less stressful. Have an amazing summer, right? You would send that to a friend, right? You're not saying, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals, or know anybody that wants to buy or sell, or you're not trying to sell to this person. You're not marketing to them. It's hospitality. You are doing something thoughtful, and the law of human reciprocity just says that they will try to do for you when they can try to do for you, right? It's the same reason why if we were all at a bar and I got the first round, someone's going to probably get me the second one. And if you don't, you'll get me the third one, right? Like somebody's doing something nice for you. You want to help them. And these people know that you're a real estate professional. They know that the only way that they can help you really is to give you another deal, give you a referral, and you've kind of, like it or not, you're not guilting anybody, you ingratiated yourself to them. So another example of our social psychologists and how this is all, it's not manipulated, don't say that, but it is kind of perfected. We knew in Q4, thanks to our trend forecasters of 2022 and Q1 2023, that for some odd reason, charcuterie boards were like the hottest thing in the entire world. Everybody loves charcuterie boards. I gotta make the best one. So in January of this year, people got these charcuterie boards, or the charcuterie board books that basically show you how to make the best charcuterie boards. And then we have a higher level one called Top of Mind Plus for your hoity-toity clients, where they also got the charcuterie board, right? And these are examples of how we we just hit the mark, right? So like one of the hardest parts, you guys might be the most thoughtful people in the entire world who are absolutely happy to invest every year in your past clients sorry, I keep doing that. I think I said it in person and it was really funny when you guys were there. So I'm an outsider, right? I'm not from real estate. I was a tech dude, had a tech team, development team, and I have consulted for businesses in almost every industry. And your guys is the only industry that calls clients past clients. Like I said that in person and it knocked some people's heads off. And I don't know why it was so weird because like you talk about your past clients. You shouldn't have past clients. Every real estate agent does until they work with us or they do something themselves that's like what we do. But like every single person you ever work with, if you play your cards right, should always be your client. Unless they move to some weird country where you don't know somebody, you can't refer them, can't whatever. But honestly, if you have a 40-year career in real estate, if you play your cards right, you can and should get every single deal they ever do and the deal of almost everyone that they ever talk to. You can do that. It is very possible and keep them a current client always. So anyway, the tech, oh, later, Steve. The tech now is so sophisticated that we know what people are thinking, quarterly and what's going on in their world. And we address it again with messaging. We've also know that, almost 80% of the reception of a gift is a result of messaging, the reason for the gift, and not the actual item itself. The item's important, don't get me wrong. And what we do, they're incredible gifts. They're very, very high quality. I'll give you guys some examples. But messaging and a reason for it is what creates the impact. So like, for example, if I told you guys in spring of this year, everybody got dryer balls, you'd be like, dryer balls? What? Unless you have dryer balls and then you think that we're brilliant because dryer balls are incredible. I've got 2 kids under the age of 7 and they have reduced our laundry or our dryer time by like 60%. But anyway, dryer balls show up at your house, all your clients' houses. That's weird without the messaging that includes it was around Earth Day, right? So we're doing something good for the world, and that we partnered with a company in Nepal that's run by it's female owned and operated. A quadriplegic woman created this thing where these like impoverished women in Nepal hand make wool dryer balls, and they partner with the Eden Reforestation Act, which means a tree is planted for every single ball that gets created. So we're speaking to Earth Day, we're giving you something that's going to actually like lighten your load in terms of your household things. And we're also basically side branding you, if you will, with, like I said before, Jay's somebody that would think to get, not just give you an umbrella, but also say, hey, if you should see a pedestrian that gets caught in the rain, here's one you can give to them. We've now helped to brand our members, as somebody who would think to do something like this and plant a tree and, give business to this female-owned and operated impoverished women in Nepal company. So some of these things, I've just mentioned a few of these things, but just to illustrate, we do this at such a level now where the value is kind of insane. So if you think it's $99 per person per year, to give you an example, we've been successful in getting things that were on Oprah's favorite list twice. So the first time was a year and a half ago with these things called Nod Pods. It's a weighted sleep like blanket for your eyes, like a stress relieving blanket. Again, it was coming out of 2021, 2022, like highest stress year. So these stress relief things that went out in January. A Nod Pod is like available at Neiman Marcus, Bloomingdale's for I think $35, $36, like $40 with tax. If you guys got that and then packaged it and shipped it and got all the boxes and whatever, like, there's pretty much no way for you to get it to a client for less than probably $50, $55 or something. That's one thing of 4 that comes for the year for $99. So we're doing this at such scale now. And we've never raised the price at top of mind. I don't think that I'm going to be able to say that forever, but we do it at such scale that we're able to help you guys get gifts for your people that are so wowing at such a low investment that it's kind of crazy. So that's pretty much, I mean, there are other things that we offer too, and I know that Siri had latched on to, and that we're like, for example, we have a looking box and a listing box to try to do things if you think that a client's going to take a while to go under contract before you do a transaction package. We have a birthday plan that basically takes care of people on their birthday or 5 days ahead of their birthday. Again, not that things are manipulated because everything feels very, very real when it arrives with somebody, but we use modern society and the norms to our advantage, to your advantage. Because, I mean, let's be honest, every industry is becoming more and more commoditized. Real estate is potentially the most commoditized industry in the world. Like there's so many people. You guys have to be honest and know, like, how easy is it to get your real estate license? It's, you know, basically like drooling on a Scantron, which means that the average one, somebody can come in and, you know, be bare minimum, right? And you're now competing against the people down the street as well as technology. So the only thing that you really have as a differentiator is how you make people feel. So, for example, because it's such a commodity, it's tech in the same way we use it against itself. So, like, for example, on a birthday plan, if I wished you guys, I'll pick somebody out, Krista, if I wished you a happy birthday at 11 a.m. on your birthday, your natural assumption is that I was reminded by Facebook or LinkedIn or something, because it's 11 a.m., 10 a.m., whatever, noon. So use that to your advantage. If you give somebody a birthday gift that arrives to them 4 or 5 days ahead of time and says, hey, here's a little something. I know your birthday's coming up. I want to be the first one to wish you happy birthday. Here's a little something to help you celebrate. The items that go in this thing, like our birthday offering is $35. It's not like there's like a huge thing. It's, you know, some candles and a little piñata. It's like a fun little thing to help you celebrate. But the reason it hits is because you're the first one to wish it to them. They know that you weren't reminded of it, right? And you kind of buck the norm. We're taking the fact that these things are so commoditized and everything is so automated and tech driven, and we're making it so that you stick out in the crowd. There is on our birthday plan something that would also, you know, text me the day of Krista's birthday and say, hey, just a reminder, it's Krista's birthday today. Below is a text message you can copy and paste or edit as you wish. So we have other things like that. We have one-off touches that are essentially saying, you know, if somebody has a baby or gets married or loses a loved one or is sick, you can push a button and send things to people. But in real estate, what drives people's business growth the most, I would say number one is top of mind, because it's the only thing you can do today, right? You guys may or may not be under contract right now. If you are, awesome. But if you aren't, unless you guys are brand new, every single one of you has past clients, again, air quotes, who are most likely not all out there raving about you every chance they get. So it's top of mind, and it is transaction packages. That's my spiel. That's what we do. I'm sure you guys have questions. I see a lot of people writing things down. So does anybody have questions to fire at me? No? Really? Not a single question? Taylor's getting ready. She's got something.
I think it's a great, business that you've set up. Just curious to know, for us, how do we get connected to you? I just tried looking at the TBR website stuff. So do we sign up individually and then like do our membership, or is this something connected with the brand?
Yeah, no, everybody does it individually. So essentially, if you guys go, actually, here, let me put a link in. No, you know what? You'll probably get, I was going to give you a link so you don't end up speaking with anybody that helps in sales, but they'll be able to help you too. Just tell them you know enough that you saw a webinar with me, and you have a bunch of questions answered already. So if you just go to clientgiant.com and create an account, somebody will reach out to you and help you. You could self-serve it, but the beautiful thing is I always tell people we exist for two reasons. Number one is everything I already talked about. It's literally basically make me look like $1 million, make every client like love me and loyal, and tell everybody, help me grow my business, help me get referrals and leads, etc. The number two is literally why nobody ever reaches out, but I think it's almost more important. It's just make life easy. So honestly, the way this will work is you create your account. You're going to get a call from a salesperson, or that you can actually arrange a time that works for you right through the thing. They're going to answer any questions that you have. And then you literally will put a CSV or an Excel sheet together that have your clients that you want to take care of. You can do it through the system, but just send it to these guys, make them do the work. Send them a CSV. They will set everybody up, and instantly you guys will be, have your people on top of mind specifically. They'll show you how to do transaction packages, which is one-off, every time that you go under contract. I know that Siri was talking at some point about maybe, offering like that where you guys could set up a transaction package, and then somebody in there could set it up and they'd pull out a commission. I don't know if that's set up yet, but she was going to work towards it. So for now, I think you do it on your own. And yeah, that's it. Then what you'll do is you'll see everything that goes out to people, right? So you'll know when it's going out in your portal. You'll see everything going out to everybody when it lands. You can watch it through its shipping journey, etc. And the reason that she wanted to do this one now, I believe, is the way that it works is we've got cutoffs. So things are roughly sent out January, April, July, October. They speak to the season. So the fall touch is going out in October, which means that there's a cutoff at the end of September. So if you guys get the lists in the next, whatever that is, 12 days, then all your people will get something in October and you'll be able to do it before the end of the year. Otherwise, they wouldn't start until January. So yeah, it's just client, here, I'll throw it in here. It's just clientgiant.com.
We also have a smart list set up in our follow-up boss. For those of you who are newer to the team too, you can add the tag Client Giant to your clients that you put on your CSV and send over to them. So you can also pull those clients in your follow-up boss on that smart list, and you can see which clients you're touching through Client Giant and follow up with them through there as well.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Jen, I know when we complete a pending form, this was added, under, I'm sorry, not the pending form, the pre-closing form, I think is what it's on, where it was added with Client Giant in there. Does that, if that's selected, does that trigger something specific in our system? Or are we just like notating that that's what we're doing?
I believe it does, but let me follow up with Rachel on that and get back to you on that one. I'll put that, the answer to that on Slack, but I think it does. I think they do something automatically for you now, with that change to the closing form, but I'll double check on that and get back to you on that one. You said that's on the closing form, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Jeff, just a quick question for you, sir. And this may be more customer service question, but in terms of billing, is it just based on when you sign up and when you initiate that process with the client in terms of like annual, renewal or charges, or do you all do it at a set time of the year?
I muted myself. Great question. So for top of mind, you have two options. You can do annual or monthly. Almost everyone does annual because there's a 20% discount. So that's whenever you set people up for a plan. So let's say that you do your list now, you basically pay it's $99 per person when you sign them up. But in the year, as you add people, they'll be on their own cycle. So let's say you put 50 people on right now, and then in 3 months you add another person or 3 people or whatever, all the people that you've worked with, because there's another cutoff. Those people will be on their own kind of syncopation, and they all are set to automatically renew, so you don't have to do anything. But if ever this should go down and down the more you do this, but let's say that somebody works with someone else or somebody moves away, or you just like, I don't know, you hate them now, you can turn them off at any time or turn off auto renewal at any time of those. The transaction packages are whenever you go under contract and set them up, those get charged at the time of transaction start.
And I believe that is what you're checking off on the closing form, is for it to be the transaction package, but I'll double check on that for you.
So the only thing I want to make sure, because I'm not sure that I didn't know that actually got done. Whenever it's a transaction package is meant to start the moment you go under contract. So if it's a form that you don't do until after closing, that would probably be top of mind. Sometimes what like brokerages and teams that will have, there's a form that, like, however the team knows when something goes under contract. And I know Siri talked about this at some point, but if there's a form that gets filled out or something in the system so that you know what goes under contract when it does go under contract. Actually, I think that's all built into Real, isn't it? Isn't it all on an app and everything? We were talking with them. So whenever you know that something goes under contract, if there's a moment at that point that they can say, yes, I'd like a transaction package, that's the easiest way to do it. But for now, until that's set up, you can set it up yourself. And again, you just need to know your client's current address, where something should be shipped now, where it should be shipped after this closes, and then the dates that are, under contract, closing, etc. Who else? Did I do that good of a job explaining everything? I don't usually leave stuff out. Well, cool.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us today and going over that information again.
Of course. It's super fun, guys. I mean, we have the best job in the entire world. I always tell people that we get to be Santa Claus because every single day, every single day, there's like hundreds of people that are like having something show up at their doorstep. And I guess I should also say that like when we started, we were using like, it's another example of how you use technology or how you use commonplace things, whether you do it with us, by the way, or do something yourself. Use commonplace things or things that are what's expected against themselves to create an impact. So for example, when we started, we were doing things in black and or white bubble envelopes. That's how they'd arrive. Then Amazon started doing things in white bubble envelopes. And every moment that we create, like whenever something lands on a doorstep, we want every moment from start to finish to be some sort of experience. So we don't want your clients to see this thing on a doorstep and be like, did I order something from Amazon? I don't remember if I ordered something from Amazon. We now create custom packaging on all these things. So somebody gets it, it's bright blue and it's got like, suns all over it, or whatever the heck it is. And they're like, the hell is this? I know I didn't order things. So like every single step of the way, creating a kind of experience that excites and wows people. Look for those moments everywhere that you can, because we can't do the things for you that are in person. So whenever you're doing something in person with somebody in a meeting and whatever, look for those moments to do the unexpected, go above and beyond, recognize when people are having those pain points or fright or whatever, and try to make those impacts. And that's what creates the lasting relationships. But I'm excited to help you guys change your businesses without you having to do much work. And we do have the best customer service in the entire world. So if there's any question besides the salespeople that you connect with, hit up our chat or concierge at clientgiant.com and they'll answer everything for you.
All right, awesome. And did you put yes, you did. Okay, perfect. We'll put that in our Slack channel too, the
Awesome.
clientgiant.com link as well, so that everybody has it in another place as well. All right.
Awesome.
Well, if there
Thank
aren't
you,
any
guys.
other questions, thank you so much for joining us today. And
Of course.
yeah.
Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of the week.
Thank
All right.
you.
Bye-bye.